If you're a Texas Rangers fan, then subscribe. The Texas Rangers are interested in Bryan Reynolds, and that doesn't really come as a surprise because Bryan Reynolds requested a trade earlier in the offseason. The Pirates and Bryan Reynolds are far apart on a contract extension, and the Texas Rangers are going all in after signing Jacob deGrom, Bruce Bochy, Corey Seager, Marcus Semien, and the Texas Rangers need an outfielder. So it makes sense that the Texas Rangers are interested. However, they would have a decent amount of competition with the Los Angeles Dodgers, the New York Yankees, and the Seattle Mariners. I do think the Texas Rangers should pull the trigger on Bryan Reynolds as he is that big of an impact to a team. As last year, he had around a 3 WAR, but the year prior, it was around a 6 WAR, and that is in the MVP range. He is an older player, but you have him for 3 years of team control, which is huge, and that can pay huge dividends for a playoff run. However, listen to this, I would not pay a Juan Soto type deal, and that is what the Pittsburgh Pirates have been asking for. I think a fair trade for Bryan Reynolds would be more along the lines of a Matt Olson deal because I think those two players have had similar career trends as far as their performance has gone. However, I think Bryan Reynolds would get a little bit more compensation as far as prospects for the reason he has 1 more of team control versus Matt Olson, who had 2 years of team control when the Oakland Athletics were trading him. However, a Pittsburgh Pirates inside reporter, actually gave a realistic offer for Bryan Reynolds. And this would be for the Los Angeles Dodgers to acquire Bryan Reynolds. But it was top prospect Bobby Miller, who is a legit pitcher, throws gas. That'd be the headliner of that deal. Maddox Bruns and Jose Ramos. So that may be a little bit of an underpay, but that is giving Pittsburgh what they want. You give 2 promising pitching prospects, Bobby Miller, who is a top 100 prospect, the 2nd overall prospect in the Dodgers farm system, and you get Maddox Bruns, who was a 1st-round pick, I think 2021 by the Dodgers, but I might be a little bit off on that. That's not the Juan Soto type deal where I think you got 4 top prospects in the Padres farm system. That's not that type of deal. Going to what the Rangers would give, I definitely think we have the capital. It just does see why I want to give that up. And I think he might be willing to put the chips all in because the other 2 outfielders we were reported to get is AJ Pollock or David Peralta, and I don't think those 2 guys will get it done. I feel like a trade for Max Kepler would be better, but let me break down what a trade would look like for the Texas Rangers. I have 2 trade scenarios. The first one would be pitching heavy. We will definitely have to give up a prospect that we don't want to see leave the organization, and one that would probably be Jack Leiter. So that's filling that similar role of the Bobby Miller ace top pitching prospect headlining the deal. So that'd be Jack Leiter. It would suck to see him go, but you have to give away good prospects to get good players. And then the next player would be Dane Dunning. You give them a guy, yes, he's hurt, but you give a guy that could go in, help that rotation right away. We, as Rangers fans, we've seen Dane Dunning as a guy who is a 5th starter, has the potential to be a 4th starter in the rotation, which is undervalued in my opinion amongst fans. Obviously, that's valued in the MLB, but that could definitely go in and help the Pirates rotation. And then the 2 other guys I'd be giving the Pirates in this deal is Cole Winn and Josh Smith. Obviously, Cole Winn is coming off of a down season in AAA. However, he had the most strikeouts in AAA in that league, and he's a year removed from being a top 100 prospect. And then Josh Smith, also from the New York Yankees deal where we trade Joey Gallo, he is a guy that's in the MLB, can go in and help the Pittsburgh Pirates right away, be a utility man, and I think that provides value there. So the Pirates are getting a lot of pitching prospects, and I think that's what the Pirates want, but it's also guys that's AA and above. If you look at Cohen, if he starts well at AAA, he'd go in and help out at the major leagues. Dane Dunning and Josh Smith are already at the major leagues, and we all know Jack Leiter can be really close. If If you're liking the video so far, please drop a like down below. It really helps out the video and the YouTube algorithm. Let's get back to the video. Now, the second trade proposal I'd have to the Pittsburgh Pirates wouldn't be as much pitchers. It would be some hitters and some pitchers. So there wouldn't really be necessarily a headliner in this deal, but they're really getting a lot of good prospects. So I'd have Ezekiel Duran going to the Pirates, Dustin Harris, Brock Porter, and Dane Dunning. So I really feel like Dane Dunning is expandable because we build up a lot of depth, but also I just feel like he can go in and help that rotation right away once he's healthy, because he does have that injury, but I think he could go help out Pittsburgh. Brock Porter, the reason I'd be willing to trade him is because high school pitchers are risky, but he has the potential to be an ace. Obviously, that's what the same thing was around Cohen, and who knows, Cohen could still be an ace, but he obviously had that bad season last year. So the same thing could happen to Brock Porter. That's why I'm willing to trade him in this package. Because yes, we're high on him right now because we drafted him in the 4th round and he had a 1st round grade. But high school pitchers are risky and they take a longer time to develop, so I'd be willing to part with him right there. So Brock Porter would take a longer time to develop for the Pirates, but you're getting a high-end guy who could be an ace. Dane Dunning could step in right away, and Dustin Harris and Ezekiel Duran aren't far. Obviously, Duran played in the major leagues last year. I think he needs a little bit more time in AAA. I think putting him straight to majors for the Pirates would be pushing it a little bit, and Dustin Harris obviously needs time in AAA. Obviously, this is dealing a decent chunk of prospects, but if you think about it, would it be worth it for the Texas Rangers? And this is something you have to evaluate, the risk versus the reward. We were pondering over this same scenario back when Juan Soto was on the trade block. And if you remember, years ago, whenever we were trading for Cole Hamels, that worked out in our favor. We traded a bunch of top prospects away, and hardly any of those prospects panned out. And that's just the case in baseball. A lot of those prospects, one, they don't reach the majors. I think these prospects will, because they've obviously have ascended. But two, even if they reach the majors, they don't really pan out. Just look at Lewis Brinson. So it is fun to see the prospects reach the major leagues, but just look at Josh Smith. It was cool to see him. I don't really see that great of value with Josh Smith at the major leagues. So yes, there would be risk trading for Bryan Reynolds. I think the reward outweighs the risk. Because obviously I think Bryan Reynolds would step in right away, and even if we trade away Jack Leiter and he becomes a stud, if we win a championship, I think it would all be worth it. And I think we need to realize that even if the price is lowered by the Pittsburgh Pirates, as teams start to realize that most likely Bryan Reynolds will get traded, it doesn't mean he gets traded in the offseason. Maybe it's at the trade deadline. We will have to part with a big time prospect, maybe two. I still consider Duran a big time prospect. He's just a few months removed from being removed from the top prospect list, but obviously it could be Jack Leiter, it could be Ezekiel Duran, maybe Justin Foscue. I don't think we should trade Evan Carter, and obviously I think Josh Young is untouchable. I think Brock Porter would be one of those big prospects, maybe Kumar Rocker, we would see. But I know a lot of you guys don't want Owen White to be touched, and you don't want Evan Carter to be touched. I think that's fair, so we will see what happens. However, I want you guys to still remember that even though we might have to get rid of top talent to acquire Bryan Reynolds, if this does happen, we still have the 4th overall pick in this upcoming draft, so we'll get another blue chip caliber guy into the farm system, and maybe the Rangers go under slot like they did this year, and maybe can draft the top player later in the draft. And also we have the international signing period, January 15th. So we have more ways that the farm system will still continue to grow, even if we trade for Bryan Reynolds, so maybe they will supplement each other. So let me know in the comment section down below, do you want the Texas Rangers to trade for Bryan Reynolds? And do you like any of these trade packages that I presented in this video? And do you have your own trade packages that you would like the Rangers to present to the Pittsburgh Pirates? If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up down below, subscribe to the channel, and with that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.